Now let's add some objects to the project. So I'm gonna go here to the object tool and Control T on the PC or Command T on the Mac. And here we have, again, on the left, the library for objects, on the right, the settings for the selected object. And ArchiCad is pretty good on the object library. It comes built in with a lot of objects. You very rarely need to download any external library. I'm going to reduce the size of the objects here so we can see more of them. So we have smaller ones. And let's go through some of them, the most useful ones. So I'm starting here on furniture, where we have appliance, bathroom accessories, beds, chairs, quite a lot of furnitures. Moving on to windows, where you're going to find some special windows and skylights. We also have some building structures, some cladding elements like a profiled sheet. And if you click on this element, the settings of it change every time. So for instance, on the profiled sheet, I have settings for profiled sheet. If I go to fences and railing and I click on the rail post, I have settings for the rail post. So for instance, here's how you can do the balustrade on the balcony, or even do the staircase railing if you don't want to use the railing from the stair object. Also pretty useful here is going to be on the mechanical folder, where we're going to find elevators, escalators, some heating objects, and some plumbing objects. So here on plumbing we have the basins that we can use on the toilet, bathtubs, partitions for the toilets, sinks, tap, fountains, WC. So for instance, let's choose one of those WC20 here. I'm going to click on the arrow. Now we again have the preview and positioning, where we can take a look on the object in plan, elevation, and 3D. So we can choose here how high this object is from the floor that we are inserting. I'm going to change it to 0. Let's go back to the WC settings, where we can choose if we want the toilet to be floor mounted or wall hung, how we want this object to look in the 3D. Also, we can choose how we want the flush type. We can have a cistern or elevated cistern. We can have an in-wall carrier. So there are quite a lot of settings. If I look here on this tab, we can choose the appearance of the object. I'm going to use the arrow to move forward. We can choose the minimal space for the clearance of this object. And then we can do the parameters for listing, like the cost, manufacturer. We don't really need that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And now to add the object, you simply click where you want and the object will appear. After you have added the object, you can use the arrow tool to select this object, Ctrl D to move around, and then Ctrl E to rotate. So I'm going to click here and rotate this object 90 degrees. And that's how you're going to add all the objects for the house. But just bear in mind one thing. You don't need to be only using the objects all the time. You can create your own object. For instance, I want to do here a countertop for my kitchen that I don't have here on the object. So you can use a slab tool. I'm going to go here on the settings for the slab, change the thickness of it, change the material to stone. So I'm going to type here stone to finish. And when you do that, the only thing you have to bear in mind is to change the layer of this slab. So this is no longer a structure slab. I'm going to click here and change it to interior furniture. So now this slab is not necessarily a slab. It's a countertop that I can use as an object. So I can go ahead, press OK, and draw my countertop the way I want. I'm going to change here the method. I'm just going to do any size for now. So this is an object, it's not just a slab. So like that, you can use elements like slab, walls, and columns to build a table, to build your own custom object. Just remember to change its layer and it becomes an object. So I recommend you to open the object tools, go take a look on everything so you know where things are when you need them. So go ahead and add all the objects for this house, from the wet areas in the toilets to the bed in the bedrooms and the cars in the garage.